So from this question, we're able to find our slope, which is 5. And then it also tells us a point. So we need to use point slope formula, which is y minus y1 is equal to our slope times x minus x1. So that is how you set it up. From here, you will put it in slope intercept form. So if you haven't finished it, go ahead and put it in slope intercept form and solve it to find the installation fee. I think so, yes. Is negative 60 plus 210
Negative 150.
positive 150?
Positive?
Because 210 is bigger.
Oh, because 210 bigger.
Mm-hmm.
210 is a bigger number. You're adding 210. It's y minus, not y equals, it's y minus 210. Yeah, well, you just plug it and the cost of the installation. Y equals 150. You're done. I think it's y equals 150. It's plus 24. You scroll. Why is there 24? Because 2 years is 24 months.
Yeah. All right. So once we put it in slope intercept form, we get y equals 5x plus 150. This is looking for the cost of the installation fee. The installation fee is our starting point. That is our y-intercept. So we have a $150 installation fee. Where is my second E? Perfect. Now, standard form questions are actually my favorites. Okay, I like these. So we're gonna go ahead and set these up and talk about them. So if you remember, standard form is the form AX plus BY equals C. And we're gonna use when the problem relates to different things. So for the first question, we have standard form. It is Sam ordered 2 hamburgers and 3 hot dogs from the concession stand at a baseball game. His bill came to $19.05. If hamburgers cost $5.25 each, write and solve a linear equation to find the cost of each hot dog. So first, what are the 2 different things this problem's relating? Hamburgers and hot dogs. Okay, so it gives us here 2 hamburgers and 3 hot dogs. So before I start the problem, I need to figure out what I'm going to let be my X and what I'm going to let be my Y. So do y'all want hamburgers or hot dogs to be X? So hamburgers. And then Y is going to be our hot dogs. So we're going to set up this equation. How many hamburgers did he order? So we're going to have 2x plus how many hot dogs did he order? 3y. And how much money did he spend in total? 1905. So we set up our equation. We are on question 9. All right. Now, it says if the hamburgers cost $5.25 each, write and solve a linear equation to find the cost of each hot dog. What do I need to do with that $5.25? Plug it in for X. Do I need to plug it in for X and Y or just hot dogs or just hamburgers? Just hamburgers. So we're going to do 2 times 5.25 plus 3y equals 19.05. What is 2 times 5.25?
10.50.
Plus 3y equals 19.05. What do I do from here?
You subtract 10.50.
So I get 3y equals what?
909.
Not 9.05.
9.45.
It's actually 8.55. All right. Now, what do I do from there?
Divide by 3.
And so y equals 2.85. Now, not only do I have to solve this, but I have to do it in context. So 285 is what? So it is $2.85 per hot dog. I feel like that's actually pretty good for like, because I'm thinking like at a Major League Baseball game, I feel like $2 for a hot dog is not bad.
Hamburgers at the football game for Baker, they're like $6.
Yeah, no, I feel like $2.85 ain't bad. All right, now we're gonna look at question 10. So now we have the tickets at a school play cost $4 in advance or $5 at the door. Total ticket sales for the evening production were $440. So what do we want our X to be? In advance or at the door? Advance. And then that means our Y are going to be our tickets at the door. So we can go ahead and set this up. How much is it for a ticket in advance?
4.
So it'll be 4X plus, how much is it for a ticket at the door? 5Y. And how much did they make in total? Now, it tells us in the next part that no tickets were sold in advance. So what do I do?
Plug it in for X.
What do I plug in for X? 0. So we're going to do 4 times 0 plus 5y equals 440. What is 4 times 0?
0.
So we get 5y equals 440. What do I do with that?
You divide.
What is 440 divided by 5?
88.
So y equals 88. Now, what does that mean in context?
Dollars sold at the door.
Dollars sold? Tickets sold, yep. Tickets sold at the door. Yeah, I feel like if you try to sell money, that feels like it would be illegal.
It probably is.
Because that feels like a counterfeit situation, you know? Like if you're selling money. Because you can't upcharge. Then they're losing money.
$1. I mean,
Unless like it's like a person like, I need $5, but I only have money on my Cash App. So
that's just an exchange.
then the next person's like, I will give you the money, but you have to send me $6 for me to give you $5. Like, you know, like interest. I don't know. So now we're gonna look at 11. Karen's piggy bank has all dimes and all quarters. The total value of the money in her piggy bank is $11.40. So how much is, what do we want our x to be? Dimes or quarters? It really doesn't matter. We could make it either. And then y would be our quarters. So we're talking about how much money is in the piggy bank. How much money is a dime worth? 10 cents. How do I write that? 0.10. So 0.10x plus, how much money is a quarter? How do I write that? Equals $11.40. Now, it then goes on to tell us that Karen has 36 quarters, and it wants us to find the number of dimes she has. So what do I need to do with that 36?
Plug in 36 for y.
Plug in 36 for y. So we're going to do 0.10x plus 0.25 times 36 equals 1140. So let's solve that. So we get 0.10x plus 9 equals 1140. What do I do from there?
You subtract.
So we get 0.10x equals, what is 1140 minus 9? What was that? 2.4. Now what do I do?
Divide by 0.10.
So x equals 24 what?
Dimes.
She has 24 dimes in the piggy bank. All right, now we are going to go ahead and we are going to do question 12 on our own. So go ahead and work on question 12. So if you did y'all do x as your solids, y as your printed? So if you set up this equation, you are going to get that you have 3.5x plus 5y is equal to 2,500. Okay? Then it tells you that if the band sells 325 rolls of printed paper, find the number of solid paper it must sell. So we have to plug in 325 for what? Y. So we do that,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
and we solve, and we get y or x equals what?
250.
250.
A
How do I answer that in context? 250.
solid paper.
250 rolls of solid paper. Then we're going to look at 2 points.
Are there gonna be a lot of question ones on that test?
I haven't decided exactly. You need to be able to do each type though, because I'm trying to decide how I want to do it.
Like the formula.
Probably not. We're gonna do some practice with that today though. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're going to look at 2 points. 2 points is probably the one that we've done the most questions similar to in all of the notes. Okay. So 2 points is exactly what it sounds. What does that mean they give us? 2 points. So whenever we're given 2 points, first you have to find the slope. What is the formula for slope?
X minus 1.
Wait, x1, y2 minus x2. Oh, y1.
Over x2 minus x1. That is the first thing. We have to find our slope. Once we have the slope, we then plug into our point slope formula. Okay, these are probably the most involved type of questions. But if I was to look back through all of our notes, we spent a lot of times calculating slope and using point slope form. This is one that we've done the setup for so many times. It is essentially just like type 2, but with an extra step. Okay, so I want us to go ahead and look at these. So we use these when we are given 2 sample points. So use when given 2 sample points. And your sample points would be your x1, comma y1, and x2, comma y2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at question 13. So to surf the internet for 15 minutes at an airport, it cost $4.05. That right there is our first point. What do you think the x is going to be there? Which one, does the amount of time determine the cost, or does the cost determine the time? Time determines cost. So our time is our x, our dependent. So we get 15, comma, 4.05. That's our x1, that's our y1. Then it gives us our second point. So for 40 minutes, it cost $5.80. So we have 40, comma, $5.80. And that's our x2, that's our y2. So first things first, I have to find slope. So for our numerator for slope, I do y2 minus y1. For this problem, what would that be?
5a minus 4.
And then our denominator, what would that be?
40 minus 14.
And so use your calculator and tell me what our numerator is going to be. What's the denominator? So our slope is what? Oh, that's 25, yeah. Yeah. What is our slope? 0.07. Just put it in your calculator and it'll tell you. Okay. For all of our word problems, decimals are good. Okay. Because we're dealing with money in most of them. We want decimals when we're dealing with money. Okay. So now we set up our equation. So I'm going to do y minus y1. What is y1? Is equal to our slope times x minus x1. What's x1? 15. And then I'm going to solve for y. So what do I do to solve that for y? I distribute first. What is 0.07 times x? 0.07x. What is 0.07 times negative 15? Negative 1.05. What do I do from here?
You subtract.
What's the opposite of subtracting?
Oh, wait, I didn't see that.
So we get y equals 0.07x plus what?
305.
Is it 05? Or is it just 3? All right, from here, it asks us to find the cost of surfing the web for 1 hour. Okay, what do I do to do that?
Plug it in for x.
Plug it in for x. What do I need to plug in for x?
Oh,
60. Okay, because each of these 15 minutes, 40 minutes. So we need to make that 60 minutes. And we just plug that in and solve. So y equals 0.07 times 60 plus 3.
4.2.
It's not 4.2. 7.2. And in context, that would be what? $70 or $7.20
4.2
for 1 hour. Let me see your calculator.
I said that's what we're plugging?
Yeah, but then you have to do the plus 3.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was just doing it.
Yep. All right. Now, I want us to go ahead and look at 14. Okay, for question 14, it tells us water boils at 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So that gives us our first point. 100, 212. Okay. Then it says water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's our second point. It's going to be 0, 32.
Is your x always going to be first?
Pretty much, yes. Our x will almost always be first. And the ones I give you, it will always be first. Then it asks us if the weather forecast says it will be 25 degrees Celsius. Write and solve the linear equation to figure out the temperature in Fahrenheit. So before I can do that, I got to first find our slope.
M equals
What's our numerator of the slope need to be?
2 minus 2.
32 minus 212 and 0 minus 100. So that gives us negative 180 divided by negative 100. A negative and a negative make a 180 divided by 100 is
18.
1.8. All right, now we can set up our equation. So do y'all remember how we did this? The equation says y minus y1, right? Does it matter which of these 2 points I use? Would you rather plug in 100 and 212 or 0 and 32? 0 and 32. Do not plug in the harder one. Don't do it. Plug in the easier one. We have y minus, what do we want to plug in?
32.
Is equal to, what's our slope?
1.8 times x minus
And then we're going to solve that for y. What do I do to solve that for y? So 1.8 times x is? 1.8 times 0 is?
Just 0.
Then what do I do to solve?
Add 30.
Can I combine those two things? No, I cannot. They are not like terms. So we get y equals 1.8x plus 32. That's our equation. Then it says, if the weather forecaster says it will be 25, what's the temperature in Fahrenheit going to be? So what do I need to do?
Plus 25.
Plug 25 in. So we're going to get y is equal to 1.8 times 25 plus 32. Y equals 77. In context, what is that? 77 degrees
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. Because it says, what temperature in Fahrenheit is this? All right. Now, I want y'all to do question 6. Ooh. I lied. Do 15. So the first point would be what?
15,000.
And then it says after 2 more years. So what would the next point be? 5, 11,000. Okay, that is because of how it says after 2 more years. So it's saying 3 plus 2 more. I wanted to make sure we did that together. But that's our points. Step 1 of this is to do what? Find the slope.
Is it 17,000?
No, I think it's negative 2,000, right?
Whoa.
Because 11 minus 15 is 4. And then you have 5 minus 3, which is 2. So that'd be 4,000 divided by 2, which is 2,000.
11 minus.
11,000 minus 15,000.
I thought it's a negative.
Mm-mm.
Wait, what?
Because we're talking about values of a car.
Are
Yeah.
oh, no, I'm talking about the other.
Oh, okay. So then you plug in to set up our point slope. And we get y equals negative 2,000x plus 21,000. Real fast. What does this right here represent? How much it depreciates. What does this represent? The original car value. All right, then we take and we plug in 8 to get $5,000.
What? You're going too fast. Can you go back?
Please.
Yes.
Y minus 7,000. Negative. Oh, it's negative 2,000.
Because it's depreciating, so it's going down 2,000. Because 11,000 minus 15,000 is negative 4,000 divided by 2. So that's negative 2,000. All right. We have our last section. The last section is one of the easier sections. Okay? It's either parallel, perpendicular. So I'm going to give y'all a second to finish this up, and then we're going to do that real fast. All right, so parallel and perpendicular. If you have parallel lines, what are their slopes? Parallel lines. They are equal to each other. They are the same slopes. Same slopes or equal. Okay? If we have perpendicular lines, what about their slopes? They are what?
Different.
They're different. They are negative reciprocal slopes. If you remember, negative reciprocal means you flip the sign, flip the fraction. So if I give you 2/3, what's the negative reciprocal to 2/3? What is it? Negative 3/2. If I give you negative 7/2, what would the negative reciprocal slope be? If I give you negative 3, what would the negative reciprocal slope be? Positive 1/3. Because what's technically underneath negative 3? A 1. So you flip the sign, flip the fraction to get negative reciprocal slopes. Now, we're going to do one each. Or we'll figure it out. So for 17, it tells us it passes through the point negative 2, 7, and it has to be parallel to the line y equals negative 4x plus 1. What is the slope to this line? Negative 4. So to be parallel to a line with a slope of negative 4, what does the slope need to be? Negative 4. And then the point is negative 2, 7. I have a slope and I have a point. What formula do I use? Point slope. So we do y minus 7 is equal to negative 4 times x minus negative 2. We subtract a negative number, and then I solve that for y. How do I solve that for y? Distribute. So I get y minus 7 equals, what is negative 4 times x? What is negative 4 times positive 2? From there, what do I do?
You add 7.
So y equals negative 4x minus 1. And we're done. That's why these are the easiest. We don't have to answer them in context. We don't have to solve for anything. All we're doing is writing the equation. We're writing it in slope-intercept form. All right. We're going to also look at number 18. So for number 18, it gives us a point, and it gives us that it has to be parallel to that line. First off, what is the slope of that line? Do we know? No, why not? Why don't we know? It's not in slope-intercept form. So let's put it in slope-intercept form. Let's solve it for y. How do I solve that for y?
You add 3.
Hmm?
I don't know. Add 1. Minus.
We can subtract x on both sides. We get negative 3y equals negative x plus 9. Now what do I do? Divide by negative 3. So we get y equals, a negative and a negative are going to make a, and it will be positive 1/3 x. Because what's understood to be in front of that x up top? And then 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So that's the line. What is the slope of that line? 1/3. So to be parallel to that line, what does the slope need to be? To be parallel to that line, what does it need to be? 1/3. Parallel is the exact same. It is just equal. And then we have a point. So put it in point slope form. How would I set this up in point slope form?
Negative 1. I'm at y minus negative 1.
Equals.
Equals 1/3 times x minus 3.
Subtract a negative number, you.
Add it.
And then you solve that for y. Distribute. So we get y plus 1 equals 1/3 x. What is 1/3 times negative 3? What's a third of 3? 1. So that would be negative 1. Subtract 1 on both sides. Y equals 1/3 x minus 2. And that is our answer. And then we're going to do the perpendicular question. So for number 19, it gives us our point. And then it says it has to be perpendicular to that line. What is the slope of this line? 2. So what would the perpendicular slope to 2 be? Negative. What's technically underneath 2? So it would actually be negative 1/2. And then we have our point, 4, 3. Put that in slope-intercept form, or put it in point slope, then move it to slope-intercept. You need to know how to use point slope form. That is a biggie. So you set it up in point slope form by doing y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/2 times x minus 4. You do all the things, you solve it for y, you get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5. So let's talk about practice. Okay, so the very last section of word problems says what? You are going to solve those questions. But we have a few minutes left, so we're going to actually talk about what type they are. Okay, so if we look at number 21, Kate bought $23.40 worth of 2 types of birdseed. She has thistle bird seed that sells for $1.60 per pound and wild bird seed that sells for 95 cents per pound. So based off that right there, what are we given?
slope.
We are comparing two different types of bird seeds, right? Which one do we use if we're comparing two different things? Which form? Standard form. If you have two completely different things that you're comparing, that is standard form. Okay. Then, 22. Jeff keeps track of his weight over several weeks. After 2 weeks, he weighs 194. And after 6 weeks, he weighs 186. What are we given right there? 2 points. Okay, for number 23, it says a landscape supply business charges $35 to deliver mulch. And the cost of the mulch is $29 per cubic yard. So what would this represent? Our y-intercept.
So slope intercept.
So this will be slope-intercept form. All right. Question 24 is
Parallel.
literally just parallel. Yeah. Then 25, it says Haley used a birthday check her mother gave her to start a savings account. She plans to save $25 per month. So after 9 months, Haley has $300. What is this part right here?
Your slope.
Or slope, and this is a
Point.
point.
Slope.
So point slope. All right. Then the last question is perpendicular.